life is really complex. There's so much information that it is just crazy to know what to do with it. There are so many decisions that you have to make, responsibilities that you have to fulfill. Just It's just difficult to fathom, and it's scary to fathom. Like, I look at life and I look at my future, and there are so many responsibilities that I'm going to have to undertake. And whilst I want to undertake them and want those responsibilities because I want the rewards that come along with them, it is scary to think about them. Like, being responsible for other human beings, that's a scary thing. But it's also really fulfilling. And I think if something's not scary, it's almost not worth doing. Or at least not as worthwhile as another action. So if there were two options that you had and you weren't doing one because it was scary, I feel like that's the one that you need to do, because it's going to be more fulfilling. You're going to gain greater benefits from it, and you're going to reap greater rewards. Like, I feel like fear is something necessary to feel, but it's almost like something that is necessary to feel, but to overcome. It's not to cower away from, it's to stand steadfast against. Plant your feet and say, I'm not moving. Because everything in life is so scary, if you think about it. I mean, just the concept of life, the magnitude of it, it's unfathomable. Life is also great, though. Like, I get the opportunity to experience everything. To experience fear, to experience pain, to experience love, joy, friendship, familial relationships. I get the opportunity to live life and create something of myself. And it's the most wonderful thing. I've got a long way to go. I'm absolutely nowhere near the person that I want to be. But I'm so grateful that I even have the opportunity to have somewhere that I want to go. To have the options to take the steps towards that goal. It's bonkers. I'm so lucky. Lucky at, like, I think anybody who is alive is lucky. And I'm so lucky I was brought up in a wonderful family. And I've had people support me throughout my entire life. And I feel like it's doing them a disservice if I don't live life competently. There are so many challenges that everyone in the world faces. Everyone's challenges are different, and I think until you can overcome and accomplish one of the challenges you have in your life, it continually shows and repeats itself in there. An example for me would be, I feel like I'm really lazy. So I've got a proclivity to being lazy, to lying in bed and not literally doing nothing with my day. And I feel like that's what I tend towards. And I feel like that's my nature. And I feel like I've nurtured myself away from that. And this is a challenge that I've continually had to face, and there have been times when I've gone and been really good and been active, out, busy with my life, actually doing something, and then it just falls away and I let it slip. And then I get lazy again, and I'll go like this. So I'll go productive for maybe a month, and then really lazy for like 4 or 5 months. Productive for 2 months, then lazy for 4 or 5 months. Productive for 3 months, lazy for 4 or 5 months. I'm slowly getting better, but I'm still having these sort of tranches of being lazy. Like, at the moment, I am doing much better than I have been previously. I've been eating very healthily, I've been working out, I've been training my body, and I've been trying to maximize essentially my hormone regulation so I'm not too out of whack, and my body is getting all the vitamins and minerals and types of foods it needs to sustain itself. So I'm doing really well, and I've been doing that quite well for about 4 or 5 months. But I've got to keep on top of it essentially all the time, because if I let it slip for a second, I know that I'm going to slip back into that state of just diabolical procrastination, just doing nothing with my life. So I've got to keep on top of it. And there are things that I have let slip, which I am ashamed to admit to myself, but I haven't been as perfect as I'd like to be. But I do believe that in a few years' time, I will be as perfect as I'd like to be, and I'll improve. It is annoying that I can't snap my fingers and be as great as I can. But I understand it's a process. Everything's a process. You've got to take one step at a time. And you've got to focus on just keeping moving forward rather than stopping or turning back completely. Even if the moving forward is much slower than you'd like. Even if you're only inching forward every day. As long as you're keeping that forward momentum, that's good, because it's going to compound, it's going to accrue, and you're just going to get this massive bundle of energy that's, I believe, is going to propel you forward. Life is essentially just a bunch of small actions that compound into big results. It's a bunch of daily wins you want daily wins because they're going to provide you with the big wins that you desire. Because every action that you take always compounds, and it's more about your micro actions rather than your macro actions. It's all about the small stuff that you consistently do rather than the big stuff that you do once in a while. Like, if you run a marathon, it's much wiser and smarter to do small consistent runs before the marathon to then build up to do the big so the small runs are the micro, and then do the big marathon, which is the macro at the end of it. So it'd be much wiser to just do a lot of little runs and micro runs, getting those micro wins to then aim for the macro, because all the micros compound into the macro. And through the tiny wins, you constantly affirm to yourself the person that you're trying to become, the person that you're aiming to become. You constantly affirm to yourself that you are deserving of the person you want to be, and that you can be the person you want to be. Life has got a myriad of different things that go on alongside of it. The only thing that you can control is your actions, your reactions and responses to external stimuli that people or the environment has put in front of you. And you have the option to take it in a positive or a negative way. So you can control your emotions and your responses to the world. And through this, you can change the dynamic, going from, I didn't succeed in doing the task that I wanted to do today. Didn't get the small win I wanted today, but I'm not going to chastise myself and whip myself, because I will make sure that I get it tomorrow. A quote that I love from James Clear goes, I make sure to never miss a habit twice, or twice in a row, because missing it once is a mistake, and missing it twice is the start of a new habit. So whenever you miss something because life gets in the way, or an external factor outside of your control, then make sure that you are getting back to it as soon as possible. Even if you can't complete the habit to the level that you would usually want it to be performed at. The act of showing up is the most important part, because it reaffirms the identity of the person you're trying to become. So even if you want to go running every day, if one day you can't do it, and then on the second day you feel like you really can't do it, or something gets in the way, what I try and do is do it even as poorly as possible. Even if that is running 100 meters, I'll make sure to run it, and I'll make sure to do it so it is performed and I can tick it off. I can say I didn't do it to 100%, but I still showed up.